Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to episode 2 of Two Piece in a Podcast with myself, Nicole, Lady T's Exotics, and the one that's not
Oh,
paying me no attention right
no,
now.
look, I'm in the comments already. Good morning, Dre, DWXOTICZ in the house.
um, Speaking of Dre DW Exotics, in case you're watching this playback, let me go to my YouTube because there is someone who's trying to get in contact with you, and I gave her your Instagram. I got to make sure that's in here, but she said she couldn't find you. So Nene Life, I think it is. Let me just go to my YouTube, make sure I got the right one. Natty Slim. I'm sorry, Natty Slim on YouTube. This is Dre DW Exotics, and you can find him on Instagram. But I'm gonna make sure that I sent you a message to send me your Instagram, and I'll send you the link to his actual page. So there you go.
Cool. Okay.
So that's how that's gonna work. But thank you guys for joining in today. We got a couple interesting topics to discuss this morning. And let's see. Can everybody? Okay, hold on. All right, let me just say, why is that doing that? Okay, I already did. I'm just gonna hit remove from Facebook because this is getting on my nerves. I don't want to remove. Okay, this might remove the chat from Facebook. I don't know. It's saying something, but I'm not connected, and I'm not trying to mess up what we got going on right now. So for those of you in the chat, the first topic we're going to be talking about is the hybrid snakes. I already know we got different opinions on this, but I'm gonna start with mine, my little quick one, and I'm gonna let Dre go because I have the berm, okay, for example, and a ball python. So one of the ones that I really don't like is the berm ball, and it being produced more, and we know that like Michael Will Banks may have already produced something years ago, but we definitely know that Bob Clark had been producing them, and you're starting to see them more. So we wanted to kind of get your feedback on it as well. Remember, please, feel free to put your comments in the chat so we can engage in the comments. And I'm just going to say I hate it. I feel like you got to be a ball python or you got to be a berm. And the way that they look, the berm head on a ball python, it takes away from what's cute about a ball python and what's cool about a berm having a big head and a weird looking body. I don't know. It's purgatory. Again, y'all know I don't live in purgatory. I'm a Gemini. You either one or the other. We don't do anything in the middle. We one or the other, good or bad. So for me, the berm and the ball python needs to be left alone. Shoot, Dre.
See, yeah, I'm 50-50. I feel like if you're gonna hybridize an animal, it needs to bring something that either of those animals lack. I understand what they were going for, but I do agree with you on this specific hybrid
On this
burn
specific
balls.
one. Okay.
I do not like. However, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big fan of bat eaters, which is a berm and a retic. I'm a big fan of it.
And I'm not a fan of that either.
Look. I know her wheels is gonna turn.
I always hated that.
Just like backstage, we were talking about carpandros. You do know I plan on making carpandros, Nicole.
Of
You
course,
gotta.
because you would want to do that to irritate the crap out of me and say
But
I have
no,
one
but
and put it on reels. But go ahead.
even before me and you crossed
Mm-hmm.
paths, that was something that I've wanted to do,
Why?
simply because I like I'm a fan of the green trees. I'm a fan of the carpets. I appreciate each animal differently, separately. But I do like when they're meshed together what they do to each other. You can have this bright green carpet python, you know what I'm saying? So I understand why people don't like it, which is understandable. Everybody has their thing. And again, it's not for everybody. I don't think everything should be hybridized. Like you said, the burn balls. I'm just like, why are you taking this big ass snake and then crossing it with that? Now that to me is it's I don't know. I
Weird.
guess I can sound like I guess for me it's a contradiction because people are like, well, how do you like this and not that? I don't know. You like what you like. I don't have a huge issue. Now, obviously, if it's something that's going to be, cause health issues or all around unhealthy for the animal, then no, I'm not for it. But I do feel like with the, direction everything is moving and everything like that, I do feel, I do feel like we're
Good
losing
morning,
more
Rob.
snakes than we're having. Yeah, I feel like we're losing more snakes than we're keeping. And the reason I'm not against carpet pythons and green tree pythons is because they're also from the same family, so it doesn't bother me as much. Although I've seen some some pretty wild hybrids out there. Now it does kind of bother me when people take a BCC, which is a pure red tail, and then throw it with a BCI because now it's just like
You
what are
took
you
away the uniqueness of a BCC. I mean, I think that
exactly.
um so you have valid points. Even with the carpet and the green tree being in the same family, but that's like saying all pythons, can be pythons are technically pythons. They just different species, right?
Right.
So
But
a
but
green tree.
I don't
Go ahead.
mean same. They're both in the actual same classification, not just
Nation of the
both
Moralia.
pythons, but they're exactly they're
Okay.
both Morelia. So they aren't so different, you know what I'm saying? And that's why you're able to breed them is because they're the similarities that they have as far as husbandry, they're both tree snakes, so to speak. Carpets aren't as arboreal, but they do spend a lot of time in the trees. And although
Mm-hmm.
they're from two different, realms of the world, green tree pythons are from like New Guinea. Well, green tree pythons also can be found in Australia, so it's not, you know, completely horrible. But for the most part, you won't see, these type of hybrids in the wild. And I think that's where a lot of people have the issue. Because we try to keep everything as close to their natural
Nature,
habitat as
like,
possible.
yeah.
Yeah, and I
Well, and that's
understand
even
that.
with humans. I think we made a lot of adjustments to what a human should and should not be. And I think that we're humans,
Mhm.
so kind of like you said, we're humans being the species, right? I don't have a problem with you are as a human being, right? But
Right.
certain things just don't go together. I mean, it just doesn't. And that's like saying a human and a technically what animal is a dolphin? A mammal. Isn't a dolphin a mammal?
Yes.
Okay. So a human and a dolphin decides to mate.
You could have just said a dog because we ain't gonna sit here and act like it don't
I'm
be
just
people out here
saying.
fucking their
I'm just
dogs now.
saying.
Like
I'm just
it's
trying to say how drastic taking a like a the whole bat eater is a whole separate because I do think that you're creating. We don't know enough about retics in the United States and the world to be hybridizing it yet. That's my number one thing.
I understand, and to
Yeah.
that point, you making a whole new super snake because it's bad enough that in Florida they had Burmese pythons hybridizing with some rock pythons, and that was creating a whole new super snake. So you had a berm with the attitude of a rock python. So I like I said, I get it. I can see either point. Like if somebody was like, if they made it illegal to stop hybridizing snakes, I would not feel bad. I wouldn't be like, oh damn, you know what I'm saying? It would just be like one of the things like, oh well, I guess it's just not for me. Am
Right.
I like obsessed with it? No, but do I think it's pretty dope? For sure. So it's not something that I'm just like, oh man, I'm like it's not like my main focus, but if I get whenever I get a female green tree and a female carpet, do I plan on it? For sure, definitely.
All right, we'll see how that work out. Do you know any hybrids that are older than 5 years old? Anyone in the chat, be in any species? Any is it even the bat eater or even with this daggone burn ball, which is the ugliest snake that you could
As
possibly put in front of me?
far as
But
I know, those both have been around for a while now. They're just not super
healthy.
common.
Because I know Bob got a bunch. We know that. You're just starting to see them more.
Well, we talking Bob Clark. His reputation isn't the best, so I don't know if that's the best example to go off
See,
of.
you know what? I'm never going to ding the old schoolers, but yeah,
Look, look,
because
look, look,
it
I don't
isn't the
listen,
best
listen,
right now. But
listen.
Bob is going to always get a rah 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 from
I
me.
don't. I've never met the dude personally. I've never done business with him, so I'm not bashing him. I'm just saying, as far as how he's perceived, so I don't know if that's the greatest.
Well,
Uh,
that's who I ended up getting my green tree from. Remember when I was looking? and no
I
one
think
had
you mentioned
any.
it. Yeah.
And I will say this, but nothing to do with, because all of that happened afterwards. Because it was a green tree, and I think we talked about this. I didn't care who I was going to get it from. The green tree python was the longest animal I ever kept in quarantine. That poor baby was in quarantine for almost a year and a half. Not on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally just a couple months ago, it was just so new to me. And I was so afraid of, it has nothing to do with Mr. Clark. It did. That snake was clearly healthy. Y'all can see when I took it out the box, I haven't had no issues with it. It's a great eater, beautiful snake. But and I knew the snake was what you call farm bred. That's, we can talk about that real fast, because people sometimes will get
I'm actually doing a
captive
YouTube video on
bred
that.
confused with farm bred and or imported. So this is how I look at it. Captive bred means you took a mama and a father who both were captive and mated them and created babies. Farm bred is those parents, one of those parents was imported to the United States at some point in the world, and they were raised up by somebody who took those snakes and put them together and created this captive captive born baby. But the parents were not captive bred. So farm means that you literally were breeding these animals that were imported on a farm and you raised them up. And then you have the third one, who is just pretty much imported, and I'm not touching that. That's an animal that's new to the United States. We don't know what in the world it has, and I think people quarantine them forever, right?
So yeah, pretty much. Even when I quarantine captive animals, I usually do 60 days. At least that's just starting off, considering there's no issues. But so I'm actually like literally in the process of doing a YouTube video talking about the different
Okay.
terms, and I'm gonna go a little more in depth on it. But we're talking the difference between wild caught, imported, farm raised, long-term captive, CB, and USCBB. So we're talking the difference between those terms and how people can know, because I get a lot of questions about Venus, and people are just like, well, isn't wild caught and farm bred the same thing?
Hey,
No, it's not.
Jeremy.
You know what I'm saying? It's not the same
Right.
thing. Wild caught is literally these animals were in the wild and they got taken from the wild. Farm bred was literally these animals are being bred in big groups in a controlled environment in their natural habitat. So they're not technically wild caught. They do have some human interaction, but not quite as much as you would get in captivity. And there's still a slight chance of risk of diseases and everything. And then captive bred means the parents still could be wild caught, but the babies were born in captivity. And then you have USCB where everything was done. And then import, obviously, import doesn't always mean wild caught. It could mean, that is wherever that animal was from. It was, if it's from its native land, it was imported to another country, because we can have animals from
Captive
here be
bred that was
imported
sent
overseas.
there, especially,
So
yeah, especially with retakes, because years ago we could transport them over back and forth, before you could.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a good
So
point.
yeah, it's just there's a lot of people that get confused by it. Shit, I used to get confused by it because I'm just like, what are all these terms? Oh, and then long-term captive. This animal was once farm bred or wild caught or anything like that, but it's been in captivity for so long, and you'll
So
see like the
long.
acronym LTC. But like I said, there's a lot of people that still have no clue what these items mean.
Well,
So they
that's
get on
true.
Morph Market, they
Right.
get on Morph Market and see these acronyms, and I'm just like, what does this mean?
$500.
Man, if I showed you my DMs, I'm just like that's probably the one thing where I'd be like, "God damn, I can't keep up with all these DMs." Like,
And
it's
I think
crazy.
it's important because I know another thing that when I first started looking for my green tree python, the pricing difference. So clearly, well, let me just tell everybody this. I was amazed at the prices. Don't get me wrong. I was not thinking. I expected to see a green tree python for 5,000, y'all. Everybody, I expected that. That wasn't the shot. When I really looked, there were some Dre that were like 10,000,
Mhm.
11,000, and I had no clue that green tree pythons. Of course, they had, they was, I guess, on the higher, what you call designer end, but
Mhm.
still, those are prices that you pay for a lot of ball pythons, and you cannot compare green tree to a ball python. I will say this, as the owner of so many species, I don't think you can compare any of them to any. Retics are my favorite. Y'all know that's going to always be.
I
But
think
I think a lot of times we get caught up into comparing, like, the green tree to me, I think is more valuable than a retic and let me just explain, more valuable. Like I can see paying $11,000 over a ball python and over a retic because that snake is delicate. Now, I must explain it, and not for production, not for breeding reasons, but when I look at like the beauty and the value of the snake, as much as I mess up, talk drunk about my green tree python, he's a beautiful snake.
You got him for a reason. So I know there's some type of love that you have for him. You just
Yeah.
as I feel like as reptile keepers, once we learn our snake's personality and how to deal with them, that's part of our coping mechanism. Especially like when we know the animal has nothing to want to do with wants nothing to do with us. We like, all right, well fuck you then. You know what I'm saying? But to your point, I think a lot of people compare ball pythons to everything because it's like it's probably it's the number one pet snake in the world. But also, I'm pretty sure that ball pythons have been in captivity the longest out of most reptiles as far as on the breeding circuit. And there's so many, there's a vast amount of ball pythons out there, and there's still new morphs coming out. So I do see a lot where people are like, how do you compare a ball python to a boa? And I'm just like, well, that's a very vague question because there are multiple species of boas. So what kind of boa are we talking about? And honestly, it's no comparison. Each snake
Right.
is its own thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people don't really know what to compare. And then to your other point, as far as pricing, anything designer with green tree python is going to be hella expensive. Even some of the localities, with if you have pure cyclops or pure miniquari or pure biak, those are all going to be expensive. Then you have the designers, which people have their own lines, like Venus. I don't talk about it much, but Venus is part of what's called the Jim Vargan line, which was one of the originators of that black designer. So Venus does have some black on his belly, but when people ask what he is, I'm just like, he's Biak and Maroc. I'm not about to get
Right.
into the semantics of the genes because it's a lot, and I have like his birth certificate and like his gene chart or whatever. But again, there's no point in me getting into that because it's so much. And Venus was not cheap. Venus was like 3K.
And see, that's
So
another thing.
that's the cheap end. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
you made another point. I also noticed that with green tree pythons and even with the tegus, when you get them from breeders, that's the only animal I own that literally has the birth certificate that comes with it. You have a picture of the two parents
really?
with the genetics. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Ball python breeders will give you this is some other, I got
like a
that.
hatch
I
card.
don't have. Yes, they'll give you the hatch card. They'll
Hmm.
even give you like I got some breeders that I purchased from, that I can, it's a not even a hatch card. It's something that's nicely devised, but that birth certificate is valuable. The birth certificate with my tegus is valuable. And it's literally a picture of both parents. Even now, when I think about that, Layla no longer being, we don't know where she is because she was stolen. I have a picture of Layla, and of course my tegus come from Jesse's Jungle, who is one of the big producers of
Yeah,
some of the
yeah,
designer
yeah.
tegus. So, like you having that birth certificate creates value if you, I mean, not that you would, but if you ever sold Venus down the line.
It also creates that authenticity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have birth certificates for 6 of my snakes. The BCC, my red tail, my green tree,
Okay, let me take it
my
back. I do have
retic,
one for my Keikos. The
my
Keikos.
retic. I got my retic from there's a lady on Instagram, Cold Hearted Exotics. She's got some huge dope retics. And she does burns as well. Um, Those three, my IMG and my Arabesque, all 5 of them
Hmm.
came with actual like identification cards and everything like that, and genetics and everything. I'm trying to think if anyone else. My berm. So that's 6. My berm did as well. So out of the
Yeah, I mean,
16,
you get the
because
cards and stuff, but not those
yeah,
fancy birth certificates with the seal,
yeah,
like take the Tegus came. I mean, that thing was just the Tegus
yeah.
and the Green Tree.
So
Yes,
yeah, actual
the
birth
best birth
certificates,
certificate.
the retic, the green tree, and the berm, and then my tegu, what I don't have anymore. But they all came with actual birth certificates. Everyone else came with like an actual like an identification card. But to me, it's still good because when you go to a show, you don't get any of that. So it was
Yeah.
good to have that. So what I do is I actually keep all of that in like a shoebox for my records, and that's just how I keep it all together. Because I'm not gonna lie, like having so many snakes, I'll forget how long I had a snake. Like how long you had it? I'm like 2 years, and I look, I'm like, damn, it's been 4 years. So it's just like, it's a good way for me to keep track of it. I mean, I'm not gonna ever sell my snakes, but also I do plan on breeding certain species, so it's a good way for me to also keep that lineage in check,
Yep.
and that way I'm able to, determine value, also determine, how long these genes go back, because Venus is long term. Venus is heavily connected in the green tree world, which I didn't know until last year. So there's a couple people that I'm friends with on Instagram that have a sibling of Venus, and Venus's dad is a very
Elias.
I just seen it.
Yeah, they get
Um,
very fancy, Elias. Go ahead,
Venus's
Ray.
dad
Hey,
is like
Chief.
a legendary breeding machine, basically, where he spotted a lot of green trees in the industry now. So yeah, it's interesting, to say the least.
All right. Then the other thing that we and Dre was going to talk about today is Tinley. And that was the notification that came out from the USR a couple 10 days ago, basically saying that every animal that was brought into Tinley had to be health tested. That they had to have a certification from a vet. And first thing that came to my head was like, well, you see how many animals at Tinley? Who can really afford? I mean, I know it's people who can afford, like a Justin could, but who could really afford to do that for every animal they bring? Are they going to bring less animals, or are they just not
Even
going to come?
then,
I saw some retic breeders jump out right away. In the retic group I was in, in the retic groups I'm in, right away. Hell no, I'm not doing that. So then we saw where they said that somebody came in and pretty much provided a vet that's going to produce these certifications so these breeders can breed the animals. I didn't see anything else after that because I was on the move after that.
I see what they were trying to do. So again, I'm a Libra. We're always indecisive. I'm 50-50 on it, because I understand what they were trying to do, but I don't like how they threw it on them short notice, because
Right.
Tinley is only like 2 weeks
Exactly.
away. Now, had this been like 6-7 months in advance, cool. So I get it, because now you are helping protect the general public, because there's going to be a breeder, well, at least one or two at every show, who's selling shitty animals. So I
Okay.
like the idea. However, give them enough notice, because a lot of the people at Tinley, these are big name breeders, and a lot of people at Tinley, they make their livelihood off of breeding. So if you just, this is one of the biggest shows as well. So if you do something like that, and then they have to get it on every single animal. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, that's messed up. So I don't, like I said, I don't
And
like
it's
how they throw it
expensive.
on them. Yeah, I don't like how
Yeah.
they throw it on them like that, as well as I don't understand like why they're going so hard on reptiles right now. But as far as there's going to be a doctor at the Arlington show who will be giving out these health certificates for free.
So
So
that's what I saw then when I was
yeah.
on my way. Yeah. Okay.
So and even then though, this show is put together by I forgot the guy's name. Uh
The
I
Tinley
forgot his
show,
name. Yeah, I forgot his
Brian.
name. Brian. Yeah, he just did Animal Con as well. Brian Potter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brian Potter
There you go.
does Tinley. So and he's pretty good at vetting out vendors. Like I've never really like had like a horrible experience. I mean, there's so many vendors, but he's not the type of person that's going to like take it. So I've literally seen him put people out of Tinley for doing some crazy shit. So I do think it
Yeah.
was kind of messed up that they just kind of threw it on there last minute, and then people are pulling out, because like I said, Tinley's a good show. So I would hate to see people that aren't there that are normally there. So I mean,
Exactly.
I haven't talked to anybody that said they're not going. It doesn't really seem to be bothered by anybody, because a lot of these people probably already have these, certificates. Depending on, 'cause a lot of them travel to other shows to make their living, so that depending on what state they go to, they probably already have to, require to do this anyway. So there's no telling.
And I also think that, like at Tinley, when you look at the breeders there, not saying that anybody's above anything, but most of the time, just like anything else in life, when people actually place value in their animals, their displays, traveling to Tinley with all of those animals, that's
Yeah.
expensive. I mean, you have to think about driving from like the East Coast to somewhere like that to Tinley, and you have to make sure the proper heat is wherever you're
Yeah.
driving in. It can't be a regular car, or you got to
Yeah.
make sure some type of heating system is in there that's going to accommodate the different species of animals that some people even have. I don't think those people are bringing sick animals. I'm not saying that nobody wouldn't. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, typically, the people who, let me not, Bob Clark is not at Tinley. And Bob Clark, I think I'm just saying, he got the money, right? But I think that people make intentional thought process to say, I'm not coming to Tinley because of this or that with my animals. Like, I can tell you a breeder who just don't want to be packing up their animals and taking them around a whole bunch of other animals. And, you know, so people make different choices to do it. But the people who do show up, you can see they put a lot, it's a lot invested in that whole Tinley experience. Like, it's fun for us, but they're spending money to make money.
Facts. That's why I tell people, if you go to Tinley, go VIP and go Friday, go Saturday, and go Sunday, because each day is something that you didn't see. There, you're not gonna see the whole show in one day. You damn sure ain't gonna see the whole show on a Saturday or a Sunday because it is so jam packed in there, and it's a big ass building. So it's, you know, you already know Friday night is a party. Like, we walk around, we looking at shit, we drinking, we catching up, we networking. You know what I'm saying? We vibing.
That's me Friday.
So,
that's me Saturday. That's me Sunday.
Listen,
and y'all come to Tinley and y'all expecting the little cool Nicole. She's turned up Nicole when I'm drinking. I'm drinking.
Listen. I got some unreleased Nicole content that I recorded last year. It's gonna stay where it's at.
Is at the auction. And who was it? I don't know if it was Big E, but I think it was somebody the next day was, who expected you to be the one?
I already knew. Homegirl from Baltimore, okay? But when I tell you,
it's a party.
That auction, you would have thought that auction was man. I mean, it was a party, but Nicole, I already know. I was just like, oh boy.
And then Antoine ended up it was an auction of this very expensive liquor. It was really good. I don't even know what it was. We just said, look, we like the shot glass. Turn up.
He got a bat too.
Yes, I actually like I like how the bat was customized. I like the auction. Period.
It was fun. But yeah, you a wild one. You know what I'm saying? It's out of control.
Part two. Couple more weeks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Two
I
weeks?
think. I don't know.
Yeah, because my birthday's next week. Tinley's the week after, I think.
Okay.
It might be like a week and a half. So.
And you decided to go to Mike's on Thursday, and not Friday. You're going to Mike's on Thursday.
Yes.
See, I don't think I'm there on Thursday.
Well, you know, he got to get to the show and set up too, so I didn't want to do it on Friday. So
good point.
I'm gonna do it the day before.
Good point.
I got some new equipment that I'm gonna try out, so I'm excited for that.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been talking to him. We excited for sure. So, as far as I know, this is gonna be like a huge show. It's gonna be more people coming.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell y'all now.
Everybody's saying it's gonna be the biggest show in a long time.
This is completely off topic. This is coming from me.
Oh God.
I know there's a lot of bro members out there. I just want y'all to know I'm not associated with that group. Fuck that group. Don't want nothing to do with it. But if you see me at the show, that's not gonna stop me from saying what's up. But I'm not jumping in any bro pictures. I don't want to be a part of that. I don't. Fuck that group. That's all I got to say about it.
So let me clean it up.
I mean, you can clean it up, but I said what I said.
Reptile owners,
individually,
and they support us. I will be honest. Like, there's a lot of people from that group who support me and Dre.
I've met you through that. I've met a lot of people individually, but now I have my own relationship with them.
Yeah.
But as far as that group as a whole, I don't want no parts of it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's facts. I can't say Dre is being Dre on this one. He's probably.
I only had to say it because I've had
People
like
keep reaching out to you. Stop reaching out to the dude.
I've had
Y'all
like
know
3
it
or
ain't
4
reptile.
people try to invite me back to the group. And I'm just like, oh, they're like, oh, what happened? Why'd you leave? Listen, that ain't got nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is,
it's not for me.
Fuck that group. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't. It
Well,
served
see,
its
my
purpose.
thing is that
That's it.
About Tinley, and which same thing that you're saying. There's so many, and I said this last year. I didn't go there representing Black reptile owners. Y'all, first
I
of
go to
all,
represent me.
I go to represent, go to represent yourself. And I will say, and I actually shared this. I mean, this is real dialogue that I had with Q when I came back. And we got to be careful with isolating ourselves because people will isolate you too, right? So if you say that I only want to deal with this group of people and not that group of people, then you become part of a clique. And this is one of the goals that we all have is to make this reptile community inclusive. So whether you are Black reptile owner, you a Asian reptile owner, you are a octopus wanting a reptile, whatever it is.
Well, that might be an issue, but I get your point.
Yeah, I'm looking at one of y'all. I said octopus, but anyway, octopus wanting a reptile. But anyway, my whole point is that to bring it in inclusive without chaos, without drama. And one of the things that I really, as a Black woman, want people to understand, and as a woman, period, because I know Dre experienced this in other races, is that we don't have to be butt naked with a snake around our neck to show off our snakes. And that was one of my things. So first of all, let me just say this.
You trying to get canceled?
I didn't know it was a thing, right? I have seen some things, but I'm like, well, who the hell is naked on with a snake? No, that's not what we have to do. Keep in mind that snakes are beautiful on their own. So if you even look at some of the pictures I take, I might have on a t-shirt that I was cleaning racks on and put that snake around me. It's going to get the same response as you would with no clothes and a snake around you. That's all I'm saying. So one of my goals is to make women more respected in this hobby, not for being a snake model type of thing, but the education that comes behind it. There are some very beautiful women like Candace Kane, who's from that group, who I respect to the highest. I love me some Candace Kane, okay? I love that girl. Like, never met her a day in life. I love everything about the character of her, right?
Mm-hmm.
She can give you beauty. She can give you thug. She can give you great animals. But what I love about her is her intelligence on the animals she keep and save.
But she also does it without being a weirdo. And I think
yes,
I think that's the
she's her. She's
this
her.
is we're gonna have to stop here because we 33 minutes in.
We ate about 30 minutes.
But also
we went 4 minutes past our hard stop. Why anybody in the audience tell us our hard stop was past?
Also, I think we have to come back to this topic one day because I got a lot to say on this subject.
Say about that one.
As somebody that was canceled before, I feel like I got a lot to say about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
for a very innocent meme. But all right, guys, it is past our time. We appreciate you joining us again for another episode of Reptiles and Cocktails number 2 with, my dude. Wait a minute, where you at? Where you at, Dre? This way? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
With DWXOTICZ. If you're trying to reach out through me to get to him, Instagram is, you'll find him on Instagram.
DWXOTICZ, YouTube, TikTok, hit me up. Like, there's some people I ignore. Y'all should see my DMs, but I talk to everybody. I only ignore people when
okay, make sure you're not ignoring Natty Slim. Well, she said she couldn't find you, so you can't be.
I say, yeah, I haven't seen her. But I check my social media. I work from home, so I'm always on social media. But yeah, hit me up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, again, guys, we appreciate you doing this with us. Dre, I'm 25 subscribers away. They are subscribing down here in where I'm at. So they've been subscribing. So
I've been promoting you too.
25 away. I know, like this week y'all went hard for me and I appreciate it. But 25 more. To my family who is watching, some of y'all got more children than that. So can you just get all your kids together and get them to sub? The ones that's 18 years or older, get them to sub, and I'm there. For those of my friends who are watching, I have more than 25 people I know that go hard for me. You don't have to look, sub, and then you will watch the videos. Let me just say that. But to that, Dre has to get to his workday. I got to get to breakfast. And I appreciate y'all. Y'all, we're really loving this. I'm loving this. More to come. Dre, just FYI, before we log out, Al Brand in the background is dope. That's all I'm going to say.
Facts.
Shout out to Von Von. All right, y'all. See y'all later. Everybody have an amazing Monday. Kick ass this week. And remember, your attitude will dictate your altitude. Don't let nobody tell you can't do what you want to do because you want to do it. And if you want to do it, it's done. And that's it. Peace.